Alrighty, so this is something that I've done this before, but this is actually the first time I'm actually doing it while I'm driving back at home, and that of course is do a quick recap after when I went to a Quakes game, because tonight I did went to watch the Quakes take on Toronto FC at PayPal Park, and apparently goals were not a thing tonight as the game ended scoreless in this one. And overall, I think this is a very frustrating result for the Quakes. I mean, I get it. It's the international break, and I mentioned it before during the preview. It's kind of really hard to glance on these international break kind of games between all these MLS teams, because there's going to be teams that is going to be missing players, and both teams were missing players in this one. Obviously, for the Quakes, the most notable player that I know we're missing is Jamel Montero, who is on international duty. But despite that, I mean, there was still pretty much enough quality on this team that I think could have got the win against TFC, and especially knowing the fact that this is a TFC team that is injured to hell from back to front, and especially have a very struggling defense. It's kind of infuriating that they didn't even put one past them. And it's also not because of the fact that Sean Johnson was busy in this game. I mean, Sean Johnson, I think he only had to make one save in this one, and the Quakes had 2 shots on goal. But it's just the fact that the Quakes couldn't put the ball on target, and just the finishing wasn't there in this game. I mean, overall, I think they definitely had some flashes of brilliance, and there's been multiple times that they had chances in terms of scoring a goal in this one. But again, the story of this game is definitely finishing, and that, I think when you look at these past couple of games, that's been an issue for this Quakes team. I mean, going back to the last game against St. Louis when they lost that one. I mean, yes, it was not a great game for the Quakes, probably the worst game of the season, but at the same time, they had their chances in that one too, and the 3-0 scoreline maybe kind of doesn't show you the fact that, if the Quakes could have put away some of their chances, maybe they'll make this one a little bit interesting. And it's kind of the same case we seen in the Colorado game, in the Vancouver game, and heck, even in the Atlanta game, especially in the first half. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there was no Christian Espinoza golazo to save the Quakes this time. And that, overall, I think when you look at how this game also is played, I mean, especially in the first half, let's be honest, the first half was kind of tough to watch. I mean, there wasn't really much chances by either team. Well, there was, mostly come from TFC, and I think TFC was just kind of doing what they were planning to do, which is just keep pumping the ball to Benedeski and hope that he can create some magic, because let's be honest, that's pretty much TFC attack. Like, with all their attackers being injured, Benedeski is really the only guy that creates a threat. He had a couple of good looks in there, but none of them was on target, and I thought for the most part the Quakes did a good job in terms of dealing with, because that was one concern that I have with the way that Benedeski was available in this game. And again, apparently not with the Italian national team, which is kind of interesting because he's been with the Italian national team all the time. He was going to be a dangerous man, and again, I thought the Quakes did a good job in terms of shutting things down. And overall, I thought the defense definitely played much better in this one. And again, anytime one of the Quakes keeps a clean sheet, it's kind of a rare thing, because this is a team that doesn't clean clean sheet, and especially with the way that we saw in the last game against St. Louis, how the Grazo injury, he wasn't available in this one. I don't exactly know how severe it is. I haven't heard anything about that, but it's definitely severe enough that he wasn't available in this one, and that I do think that they desperately need him back, because with him being there, it definitely solidified the back line, and without him, you can see that back line was exposed in that game against St. Louis. Not much in this one against Toronto, because like I said, TFC, their only attacker in this one, and the only dangerous man in Benedeski, and that you can shut down Benedeski, you pretty much shut down this TFC attack. But speaking of the attacking sense, for the Quakes, again, the second half, I thought in the second half they definitely looked much better. I mean, in the first half, it was definitely problematic, and I noticed that the Quakes have started to kind of have these kind of patterns where they got off to a slow start in the first half, and then they kind of didn't figure it out until the second half, which, I'm fine with that. I mean, I know it would be nice if the Quakes can figure out those attacking patterns and can be a little bit more cleaner straight out of the gate, but they can get stronger as the second half goes, then I have no problem with that. But again, they definitely pushed to trying to get that opening goal, and really by the final 20 minutes of this game, I thought TFC was just sitting back. Like you knew what they were doing. They're playing for that 0-0 draw. In this one, the Quakes were putting a lot of pressure. I thought it was also dangerous in the set piece too. I mean, there's been time whenever those set pieces are coming, the Quakes create a couple of decent chances, and then I think it was getting to a point where they kind of got a little bit too desperate and then started pumping those aimless crosses. And again, that just kind of also shows a team of desperation when you see those aimless crosses coming in. Well, not really aimless cross, but just them keep pumping crosses in the box and hope that somebody will get to the end of that. And again, there was a couple of times where they were able to get to the end of it. There was actually one sequence of play, and this one wouldn't have counted either way because there was actually an offside on the development of the attack. But there was one sequence where when the ball was heading to the back post, I think it was K-Cal, the one that was trying to stab it into the back post, and I don't know how in the world he was not able to do so and hit the post. And then the ball was kind of recycled, and I think it was Jackson Yueill, the one that was hitting that long range effort, and that one came off the post. I mean, it was unbelievable how the fact that one came off the post twice. You usually don't see a same sequence play where the ball hit the post twice, but like I said, that wouldn't have counted either way because I think K-Cal, who trying to stab that one in, he was in an offside position, so whatever after that it would be neglected. But again, there was also a couple more opportunity. I think the one that is kind of a little bit painful to see is what happened, I think, in the 90th minute where this was, I think, the only time where Sean Johnson actually had to be tested, because this was, I think it was Espinoza, the one that struck this one from long range, and Johnson was able to deny him there, but he kind of didn't really do a good job in terms of palming that one away. He did allow a rebound to Tommy Thompson, and again, we talk about many years of the fact that if that was Wondo, that's in the back of net. Like that's the thing that Wondo basically feasts on, and I know he's now retired, but there's gonna be times where I'm gonna, down the years, I'm still gonna be using the Wondo comparison of the what if moment next to Wando's name because of what he has done for the Quakes and how he is definitely gonna known as not only the goal king of MLS, of the all-time goal scorer, but probably the best poacher we have ever seen in this league history. And that was kind of the goals that he could have scored. I mean, in the back post, just kind of drift off the defense and basically tap that one in. But unfortunately, Tommy Thompson is not Chris Wondolowski. I mean, he just completely whiffs on that one. I mean, I will give Tommy Thompson some slack because of the way that he's not a regular starters, and he of course came off the bench, but still, despite that, I think he absolutely needs to do better. I mean, that was the opportunity for the Quakes to get that dramatic winner, and I also think that kind of just sums up the Quakes night. I mean, just not being clinical in front of goal, and that, yeah, overall, it was a scoreless draw in this one, a very frustrating result considering that this was a winnable game, and a game that, anytime when you're playing at home, it should be a win. You do not want to drop too many points at home if you want to have a chance to make the playoffs. And, I think for Luchi Gonzalez, they will definitely feel like this was a missed opportunity, and especially against a weak TFC team, they have to win this one. So, yeah, they'll move on, and I'm not quite sure who exactly they play next as the next opponent. I think they're going back on the road. I got to check the schedule too. I'm kind of embarrassed the fact that I can't think of who the Quakes are playing. I know their next home game, I think, is against the Houston Dynamo, and that's not going to be easy because for whatever reason, the Quakes always tends to struggle against the Dynamo when they're playing on the road, and at times playing at home too. So that's not going to be an easy task. And again, so far, I will say that to kind of just summarize the start the Quakes have had, I mean, I would say it's been an okay start. I mean, I think there has been some improvement in this team, especially on the defensive side. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that it feels like this back line they have, which is not really a new back line. I mean, this was the back line that's pretty much the same as last year. But I think the reason why this back line has been much better compared to last season is because of the fact that Grazo is present there and alongside with Judson. By the way, Judson actually came back into this game as a sub, so it's good to see that he is now back in the team, and hopefully maybe he'll be a regular starter because we definitely need his presence. But yeah, Guerrero, he does means a lot to this team, and like I said before, I'm really hoping his injuries is not big because we saw it in that St. Louis game. Like once Guerrero went down, pretty much the whole back line went down because they don't have the cover that Guerrero offers to this team. But while the defense have gone a little bit better, goalkeeping I think has still been an issue. There's been a couple of times with JT Marcinkowski. I mean, he made I think a couple of saves, but there's a couple of ones that he doesn't really look that comfortable, and that's going to be continue to be an issue even when Daniel does eventually come back from that injury. But just overall on the attacking end, I just think it's still not good enough for this team, and that they just need to be cleaner in terms of not only their finishing but just their final third play overall. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game, and also what do you think of the season as itself? I mean, again, I think it's been an okay start for the Quakes. I wouldn't say it's been an amazing start, but it's been kind of an expected start for the Quakes. And I did say before, I don't expect this team to make it to the playoffs. I think this team still have a lot to build on, but I think there's definitely progress, I would say, that has made so far in this early part of the season, and it'll be interesting to see whether if that's going to continue as the season goes along. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for this quick recap. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.